A lot of talk of tariffs, Senator, in particular about the president threatening to increase tariffs on Mexico. What are you hearing from constituents about whether or not that's a good idea?
Well, they are not happy about that, of course. They don't appreciate the tariffs when it comes to Canada and Mexico. They are very good trading partners, and we really need to get the USMCA over the finish line. So what the president is trying to do, of course, wake up Mexico. Let's talk about the humanitarian crisis on the southern border, but let's make that a separate issue. Let's focus on trade. Let's get the trade deal done, and then let's work with our partners in Mexico to alleviate the humanitarian crisis.
What can Republicans up on Capitol Hill in the Senate do to pressure the president to back off of these threats of tariffs?
Well, I think we need to get the USMCA done. Let's get that over the finish line. But then we also need to be speaking up and saying, Mr. President, this is what our constituencies are saying, and they really don't want to see those tariffs.
Meanwhile, you had a really big win on E15 in particular that's going to be able to be sold year-round, lifting an Obama-era regulation. How did this come about?
Well, we worked very hard. A number of us Republicans from those ethanol-producing states across the Midwest. We pushed the EPA. We pushed the administration very hard. And, of course, then the president had made that promise to farmers and to ethanol producers that he would support the renewable fuel standard. And this last week, the president lived up to that promise, and we now have E15 year-round.
And this is a win for ethanol. There's also the various farmer aid packages that are being distributed to farmers as well. But the bottom line is that what I'm hearing from you is that if you impose these tariffs, however, it could cut some of these gains that have been made for farmers.
Right. The E15 is a huge win for Iowa farmers. It's a huge win for the Midwest, of course, and those that want consumer choice at the pump. But what we don't want to see are additional tariffs that might cut further into that corn market or other types of biofuels market. So we need to continue on a path of success, and that's why getting the USMCA done right away is imperative.
In terms of the timeline, where do you think the next procedural steps are for USMCA or NAFTA 2.0?
It's absolutely has to go through the House, and Speaker Pelosi has to bring the bill up. It has to move forward through their Ways and Means Committee out onto their floor. They need to vote on it and send it to the Senate. And once we have it in the Senate, we'll pass that. We'll get it on to the president for his signature.
Meanwhile, flood insurance and flood relief package, rather, this has been something that just advanced as well. Another big win for farmers in your states who have been really hit hard by these floods.
Absolutely. And just this past week, again, we saw additional rains through the Midwest, which is causing considerable damage yet once again in those flood-stricken areas in southwest Iowa across the Midwest. So getting this aid package done is very, very important.
I was struck by this. I was looking at the Bloomberg terminal just before this interview and looking at the price of corn futures, which have absolutely skyrocketed as a result of this. Is there anything else that needs to be done in order to provide additional relief to these farmers?
Well, we certainly just need to focus on trade. Again, the farmers have told me time and again that they want trade, not aid. And the flooding issue, big issue across the Midwest. But let's get these trade deals done. Let's continue to work on the biofuels markets. That way our farmers do have the support that they need.
I know you've got a busy schedule, but about a week from Saturday, there's the big roast and ride in Iowa. It's going to be yourself, you're hosting with Governor Reynolds, as well as former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley. It's Father's Day weekend, I believe, this is three prominent women within the Republican Party.
Absolutely. We'll be talking about policies that really have made the United States very, very strong. And we want to celebrate, of course, women in leadership within our party. But again, focusing on the policies coming out of the Trump administration that have really helped not only our Iowa farmers, but the nation as a whole.